Alright you guys, so just doing a review for this LiTime 1280 watt hour lithium iron phosphate trolling motor deep cycle battery. Yeah, I know that was a lot to say, but yeah, anyways, this is basically going to be the same type of review for my LiTime 100 amp hour battery, because this is literally from the same brand. You know, LiTime did change their name over to LiTime, and this is their trolling motor battery that has a 100 amp hour capacity. And so yeah, if you've seen my LiTime 100 amp hour battery review, this is basically going to be the same thing, to be honest. But yeah, just taking a look at what's included in the box though, that is the battery right there. You also get the manual right over here, this piece of paper. It just tells you a bit about the company and other products that they sell. And right over here, share it with us. I suppose that it just shows a few other people that have bought the battery and they're just sharing their experiences with LiTime products right over here. And right over here is the service card, and right over here at the back it does give you a few operating precautions. And right over here you do get stickers with the battery as well. That's pretty cool. And also what's included in the box is 2 post bolts. So I have 2 on the battery right over here, and you get 2 rubber covers, a positive and a negative one. And so just taking a look at the battery itself, you know, once again, I've done a few reviews for these type of batteries, you know, from brands such as I've also done a Power Queen 100 amp hour battery review and a Redodo 100 amp hour battery review. And so just taking a look at the size, it does have a 13 by 6 by 8 inch form factor. And the battery does weigh 22 pounds, so not exactly heavy, but you know, you're definitely gonna have to use 2 hands to move this around, or maybe 1 hand actually. What am I saying? It does have a handle at the top that is removable. You can actually remove the handle just by you know, shimming it into like this slot right over here, and it's taking out the handle if you don't want it on there. And so yeah, the main difference between like this trolling motor 100 amp hour battery and other like ones that aren't trolling motor batteries, it's that this one is better built, I suppose you could say. It does have a IP65 water resistance rating, so you know, it can take splashes of water, you know, it can take splashes of salt water when you're using it like with a boat, hence the trolling motor right there. But yeah, it's basically built better, which is why it's going to be maybe a bit pricier, but you know, that can be worth it for some people. And also this one does have low temperature protection, and so anything above 32 degrees, you know, charging is on for this battery, like, so you can use it. And so just taking a look at the battery itself right over here, nothing too notable, honestly. Just taking a look over this side, you know, as I mentioned before, 1280 watt hours. You just multiply the voltage times the amp hours right over here to get the watt hours. 1280 watt hours is a lot of capacity, considering, you know, a 1280 watt hour power station would be pretty expensive in comparison to the price of this battery right over here. I will have a link to this battery down in the description below in case you wanted to take a look at the price. It does give you a few warnings right over here, the manufacturing contact email right there, so that's pretty nice. And so yeah, I mean, that's really about it when it comes to just taking a look at the battery. I'm just going to get to testing out the battery capacity efficiency with my load tester to see how much of the 1280 watt hours I can actually pull from the battery. And then I'm going to move on to inverter testing to see how much, I suppose, AC capacity I'm able to pull out from this battery as well. And yeah, that's really about it. I'm going to be right back to test out the battery capacity efficiency. Alright guys, so just running the battery capacity test for this LiTime battery. And so, you know, I do have this load tester connected to the negative and positive side of the battery right over here, and I'm pulling about 120 watts. You know, I suspect that voltage is going to drop down to about 12.7 or 12.8 volts. And yeah, I'm going to be right back to see how much watt hours I'm actually able to pull from the battery. Alright guys, so I did finish up the battery capacity test. I was pulling about a 120 watt load continuously until the battery capacity was fully depleted and this load tester basically turned off. And so I was able to pull about 1,305 watt hours, and so that gives me about a 101 capacity efficiency for this battery. Well, almost a 102% battery capacity efficiency. This is one of the best battery capacity efficiencies I've seen with a 1280 watt hour battery, that is. Alright you guys, so just back with the LiTime 100 amp hour battery. And so I forgot to mention that this is a lithium iron phosphate battery. I'm not too sure if I mentioned that already, but you know, with this being a lithium iron phosphate battery, it's able to get about 4,000 charge cycles. This is a lot better than a lead acid battery. And also with this being a 1280 watt hour battery, it's able to output 1280 watts continuously, and it's also able to input 1280 watts potentially if you have a battery charger that's powerful enough to do that. In this case, I do have LiTime's very own 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter that I'm going to be using to run this heater right over here. I'm just gonna see how much watt hours I can pull from the battery all the way down to 0% through an inverter, and also I'm going to see if I can actually power this heater on its high setting continuously as well. But yeah, anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this started. I'm gonna just set the heater on its I'm gonna set it to low first, just to see how many watts I can pull. And I do have this watt meter that's gonna be keeping track of the watt hours that I'm pulling out from the battery. And also, this is pretty cool. This inverter does have a screen that's able to show the voltage and the wattage output of the LiTime battery right over here. So that's pretty cool to see. And yeah, seems to be doing well with the heater being on low. And yeah, we're pulling about 793 watts right over here on the watt meter. Basically says the same thing on the screen for the inverter as well. As cool. Okay, this is where I'm going to be tracking the watt hours. Let me go ahead and set the heater to its high setting now. I think we're going to be pulling about 1300 watts or like 1400 watts, I think, with the heater on its high setting. Let me see what's happening. Okay, yeah, we're going higher up in the wattage output. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we're at about 1300 watts right now. All right, and so let me go ahead and just set a timer as well, or I mean a stopwatch rather, to see how long I'm able to run this load for. There we go. And so just starting that stopwatch right there. And so I'm just going to stop the stopwatch once the battery is fully depleted of its capacity and it stops supplying power to the inverter, and that's going to cause the heater to shut off, of course. And so yeah, I got that going right there. All right, unfortunately, it looks like the battery actually just stopped providing power to the inverter. But yeah, I was pulling about like 1300 watts, and that caused, and so eventually the inverter just turned off, and it turned right back on after a few seconds. So I think the power load that I had going was too much for the battery to handle, which is, you know, that's fine because the battery is only rated for 1280 watts, and I was going over that. Well, a little over that, but yeah, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and just do another test. I'm gonna have the heater set on its low setting now. I was able to pull about a few watt hours though while I had the heater running. Yeah, I've pulled about 50 watt hours so far with this test, and so now I'm gonna set the heater to its low setting to see how many watt hours I'm able to pull. And so yeah, I'm just doing the same test, but this time with the heater on low, and hopefully this works. Let's see right over here. And yeah, so with the low setting, I should be pulling about like 800 watts or like 750 watts. And I'm going to be right back to see how long I can run this load for. I'm going to reset this. So yeah, I was able to run, you know, the heater on its high setting for about 2 minutes. And so I'm just going to run this stopwatch until the LiTime battery is fully depleted. All right, you guys, so I did run down the capacity for the LiTime battery all the way down to 0% using the LiTime inverter, and also using this heater right over here. You know, I had the heater running on its low setting because I wasn't able to run it on its high setting. But yeah, anyways, also I did set a stopwatch on my phone. However, my phone died because I forgot to plug it in to charge. So my bad right there. And so what I ended up with on the AC capacity side for this LiTime battery was a 1130 watt hour capacity of the 1280 watt hours, and that gave me about a 88% capacity efficiency. And so yeah, this fits into my other deep cycle battery inverter testing. Basically, you know, it's within that, you know, high 80% range, nearly 90%. So I would consider this type of AC capacity to be very good in my opinion, because a lot of power stations, like if we're comparing using an inverter with a deep cycle battery versus a power station, you know, power stations usually have lower AC capacity efficiencies, and so yeah, that's really about it. I just wanted to do some light testing to see how this LiTime battery would perform on the capacity efficiency, and to see if I was able to power it via an inverter. And of course I was able to. I mean, no surprises right there. And so I will have a link to the product page down in the description below. I will also have a link to the review article over at chargerharbor.com in case you want to read a review for this battery as well. And I will see you all in the next video. All right, goodbye.